Thanks for checking out this video on the Joyous Ice Fish palette from Sigil inspired Tammy Tanuka. I'll share some info on it and how it looks, the vibes of the brand as part of this palette release, my swatches, some eye looks I created, followed by my final thoughts. I'll start by sharing some info about the brand. Sigil inspired Tammy Tanuka is a Russian indie brand created in 2012 by Tammy Tanuka, who is an artist, photographer and colorist, as well as writing for the gaming universe. In terms of the brand name, many of you may already know that sigil means a symbol, a seal or signet that can also symbolize something that is considered magical. And it's perfect to describe the concept of this brand. There is a team that produces these products, designed around this fantasy universe of the sigil. They currently have more than 800 shades of eyeshadow, each one named with a fairy story attached, and each week they publish a special theme on their website and social media that would have a story and beautiful artwork. And that goes into the week's promotions, that could include tutorials or releases or competitions, and it would go into a beautifully themed packaging that you'd receive if you ordered anything that week. So it's a creative brand that delivers beautiful products. They're stated as cruelty-free, they're not yet registered or listed with any independent sources. You can buy directly from their site, they have an English translation, or you can buy on Etsy, they do have a store there. 500 Russian rubles equates to around 4 to 5 UK pounds or around 6 to 7 euros or US dollars. So the prices are okay, falling between mid to high range in general. My delivery experience was excellent, I got my order within a week. I also ordered some pigments and as you can see they are beautifully packaged, true to the theme of the week. That theme which this Joyous Ice Fish palette belongs to is Sonorous Stream and Wishes. The theme told is that for distant lands, for distant seas that high cliffs are washed with cold water, there are countless miracles and magic. The maidens have thick braids there, the fellows have broad shoulders, and the elders tell such tales that you will listen, either about huge monsters that live among the rocks, or about the fairies so tiny that you can't see with your eyes, about sorcerers who can speak the language of animals, and about animals they speak of like people. You sit, you just wonder, and you keep thinking, what in those fairy tales are true and what is fiction? A beautiful short piece of writing. Along with the artwork, it gives you a good sense of the theme and the palette. And as my order was over 1,000 rubles, I received their limited edition pigment shade of the week as part of the drop game called Triumph of Light. I'll share the story behind this at the end of the video, but the drop game is a chance to win a giveaway. I didn't win this time. Another thing to note is that you can opt for plain packaging for your orders, and you can also choose not to receive the collection card that you see here. I didn't see this affect the cost, I just think it's a good sustainability and environmental consideration. Like other sigil palettes, you can get the Joyous Ice Fish palette in a full size, where the magnetic pans are 26mm, or you can get a mini version of the palette where the pans are 15mm. Again, very good options. I decided to get a mini palette, as I have many eyeshadow palettes, so I'm going to probably save product and only use this occasionally. This is how it was packaged, and this is how the palette looks. I think this colour story of delicate blue shades are beautiful. You can also get these as single eyeshadows, both the 26mm and 15mm pans, and as the palette is limited edition, you can use them as refills after. So there's some really good options for you to try these. So that's how the palette and shadows look. Here are my swatches. No primer used. those are the swatches. Beautiful shades. The shimmers swatch so well. The mattes have a fair decent payoff. The swatches indicate they're best applied by blending and building. Here's some looks I created with the palette. That's the first look. Very much a deep blue sea vibe. Here's the second look. That's the second look, reflecting brighter sea blue waters. Here's the third look. Here's the final look with more cool, neutral hues. So those are the looks. Here are my final thoughts. It's a beautiful cool blue palette. From my experience, I tend to find blue shades not so easy to work with. I have a light neutral complexion. So when I find blue shades like these that work really well, I'll certainly have these as my favourites. I love the themes that this palette is designed around, and the packaging with the embossed fish is so beautiful. I was a little surprised with the weight of the mini palette. It's not that heavy, but it's definitely solid, and I think having the option of having a mini palette is great, both from an affordability perspective as well as a resourceful consideration. In the pan, the shadows feel smooth, slightly soft, with the shimmers applying and blending very easily. The matte shades need a little more building and blending. I really don't think that's much different to many other blue shades. I think the payoff is still decent. They do wear a little quicker than the shimmers. I have fairly oily eyelids, and with that for wear time, they lasted 6 or so hours with a primer, as well as setting spray. Overall, I think the palette, the colour story and the finishes are beautiful, and the quality seems pretty reasonable. So those are my final thoughts on the palette. I'll finish by sharing the limited edition pigment called The Triumph of Light and the story behind it as part of the drop game theme of the week. Say good triumphs over evil. There was a girl named Catherine whose beautiful face was marked with greed and arrogance. She wanted all the best things for herself, be it a man or a dress. One day, a girl moved into the town. The girl lived with her mother and was not exquisitely beautiful nor outstanding. The girl fell in love with the son of a blacksmith, a wealthy guy. As soon as Catherine found out, she did her best to switch the guy's attention to herself. And she made it. However, the poor girl's mother was a witch. She cursed Catherine, and the greedy girl found herself lost far away from home. Catherine couldn't remember who she was and where she belonged to, so the girl began wandering around the world. 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days she was away from her town. Her skin got dark and her dress got ripped and shabby. Catherine came back by accident, but she remembered every kind person who had shared food and shelter with her during the wandering. She returned a better person, and from that moment on, she was always ready to help. Share your thoughts, comment below, and thanks for watching.